Hey, kicking off our Olympic events, I got you guys doing badges. So let's talk about the expectations for badges. Badges need to build off of the elements of design and your understanding of the principles of design. So I've made us some starter badges that you can see as a guide for what the badges should look like. And remember, with the principles of design, you need to follow the craft. You need some contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. So check out the badges I already made. And let's see them. Okay, here you can see all the badges I made. We have the couch potato badge. And then we have the physical conditioning badge. And I'm currently working on the sports selection badge, and I'll do that with you kind of as a guide to show you how you go through all this. One of the things I want to note is when I first made these badges, all the text was up above the middle line like this. That is due to the formatting. The text box appears all the way up here, even though the text is down here. So make sure when you finish, that's at the bottom, so then it will line up properly. But anyway, so looking at these, what do you see working for contrast among these? How about repetition? What do you see the repetition going on that I expect in all these? What do you see going on with alignment? And then proximity. Now this is a small thing, small badge, so there's not much to do with proximity here because there's not much space to group things. But as far as alignment, I want to note that the text all needs to be center aligned. The repetition between each of the badges, you got the Olympic symbol, you got the outlined text, the background, and the text are all the same color. So those are the repetitions I want in each badge. So that's why I have the Olympic badge template, and I give you this to work from. Now you'll see when the text gets longer, the sizing of the text gets smaller. That way I could still have the same positioning, still have it on one row and not layered. So some things need to change. Okay. But how to make a badge. So you'll start with your Olympic badge template, and you're going to make a copy of it. So File, make a copy. And you'll call it whatever badge title you are making. So let's go. I'm trying to look up one. Coach selection. Okay. And then the first step, nice and easy, is to go ahead and change this text and make sure it fits. Coach selection. And as you can see, it does not, so I'm just going to highlight that and make it a little bit smaller. And then you can adjust the positioning of the text once you make it smaller. There we go. That way it fits the box better. Now we want to get rid of that old picture and put in a new one, which brings me to the one I already started, which is the one I'd like to work on for you. Now, when you get the badges, you need to make sure that you are following copyright concerns. So that's one of the things that this endeavor is going to teach us. So sports selection is the badge I'm working on. So I want to search for Google images related to sports selection. So Olympic sports is the search term. Just think of search terms you can use. So you start off with Google, right? And you start off with your search term. Okay, but we want images, of course. However, we can't just use all these images because some of these have copyright. So we are going to go to Tools, Usage Rights, and then we could do any of these really. Non-commercial is usually less restrictive, so labeled for non-commercial reuse is probably the least restrictive that we can choose. These are ones that we can pick from. So I have Olympic sports. I am looking for, you don't want pictures, I will say, because remember with logos and stuff, you want them to be scalable. You really want something called vector graphics rather than raster. Pictures are raster, and they're hard to replicate without getting pixelated, and they just don't look like a logo. So we can change our search. We can look at these options here. But to clip art, something like that will narrow it down. And I want a picture of a lot of sports, so maybe something like this or something like that. I already have the rings though. So let's check out this and see how that works. I can click it, get the preview, and now I'm just going to drag the preview over to the tab where my sports selection goes, and I'll stick this in. Now my concern with pictures with a lot of stuff is that it might get busy. And if it gets busy, it gets hard to see. I want it to scale up so it covers the whole thing. I drag from the corners so that it's not stretched out awkwardly. And I'm going to move it down a little bit. It's okay that it goes off the edge. And I'm going to send it to back. Does that look busy? I think it does. You know, there's just a lot of contrast of colors. And so I don't know where my eyes are supposed to focus. My eyes should always somewhat focus on the title. So here's what I need to do. I need to adjust the coloring of this if I still like it. So let's go to Format Options up here and Recolor. And see if we can choose one that's just like a consistent color, makes the text pop out a little bit more. There are a lot of different color options. Oh, it's a little dark. Maybe something like that. I could do that. But I could also browse for more options. So let's just see if I can get something. Might be good to have one focus picture, but I want to show a lot of sports options, so it may not be a possibility. That's just people. Okay. Search around, get something that you feel like has those good principles of graphics. So let's see. I have the consistency, I have the repetition, I have contrast because the text is not standing out, is now standing out from the rest of the stuff. I have alignment, it's still aligned the way it needs to be. And notice when you do graphics typically, you don't have everything right in the dead middle. You try to abide by a rule of thirds. So this is actually up on the top third of the graphic rather than directly in the middle. It's more appealing to the eye that way. I don't have a need for proximity in this. So with that done, all I have to do is publish to the web, publish, and then I'm going to get that link, and you're going to copy it and put it in the form for me, submitting that this is your sports selection. You'll get more points if your sports selection is chosen, a lot of bonus points, like double the points that you would have gotten otherwise. And you'll get great points if it abides by all the contrast, repetition, alignment, proximity. Your logo will possibly be eliminated, likely, if it does not have the repetition of this. Like if it completely changes the structure, completely changes the color, it's not going to follow the format. It's not going to have consistency. So make sure that it abides. So I'll show you a couple of no-nos that I made. Let's see. This one. That's wild. That is an abomination to graphics. So what we got going on here is we got a lot of different color, but it's not following color theory. These colors don't go together. They clash. We got the blues, the yellows, the grays, and then we got this, all this. And it's too busy. We can't really see what are we supposed to focus on. You need something to stand out to focus on. And for us, it's the logo and the title. The picture is just supplement. So let's see if I can get, when I did recolor, it fixed a lot of it. However, it isn't providing good spacing. We still got a lot that's cramped right here. So it's just something that I'll say with lots of pictures, the busyness, you got to watch out for that. And you can see on this one I ended up doing the gray, which is cool, but you know, gray can get boring after a while. So try to just go with pictures in general. But anyway, that is how you make a graphic and you turn it in and you follow licensing. So I'm going to request that you turn in your graphics with the appropriate published URL from Google Drawings, that they follow these expectations, and that it suits the expectations. So I look forward to seeing the best logos submitted by you. In other classes, I'm just going to make the badges for everybody. But in this class, you're the designers. So I look forward to seeing what you make.